So, hello guys. Today we're doing chest and back. Actually, I sparred with my friend like an hour ago and it didn't go well. I got a little concussion for the first time in my life. We were just having a sparring session and basically what happened, I let my hands down fully. I was just like going around like this and he started like jumping forth and back, and with his jump to the front, he basically did like this kind of hook, and man, it was such a weird feeling. It's really hard to explain, but I only seen him jump forward, and the next few seconds I'm just like already just covered up, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Almost lost consciousness. Yeah, I've read on ChatGPT it might have some symptoms for a few days or a few weeks. I hope it's a very mild one. I hope nothing bad will happen to me, but my head does hurt a little bit. I cannot concentrate as well. It is what it is. I just gotta look out for some symptoms. It's apart from that, it's not like I lost consciousness. I just got stunned. It hit me with one very good shot. I see like my vision kind of got dark. And then after a few seconds, I'm like, yo, what just happened? And I tell him, chill out, bro. You actually almost knocked me out. And actually, you can see, yeah, it hit me right here. You can see, hit right on my pimple, and it doesn't hurt or nothing, but it's just like it kind of messed with my head. I'm not gonna lie. I'm mad, really mad. Not mad at him, but I'm just kind of mad about the fact that I could have avoided this situation. It's like we just decided to spar in the middle of a day. What a great thing, But it is what it is. Now, I just want to talk about my life for a little bit, and what can I say is I made some goals for myself. I was kind of just wandering through my life, just, oh yeah, I make YouTube videos, I make a few videos per week, stuff like that. But now, I don't know if you can see, there's a little paper right here. Maybe you can see, let me check. Yeah, you can see like this little paper right here. I wrote down my goals right there, and I read them every single morning when I wake up. I don't want to like get very into my goals. It's kind of like a personal thing, but I feel like I can share one of my goals. It's to learn business. So what I started doing is I started reading this book, The Personal MBA. If you don't know about this book, it's basically all you need to know about business in one volume. Now, a lot of people may think it's impossible to get everything that you need to know in 300 pages, in 400 pages. But I will tell you exactly how this book works, okay? So this book teaches you the fundamentals of business, okay? Like the value creation, human psychology, marketing, sales, delivering the products, stuff like this, just finances, budgeting, just all the stuff you need to run a business, but in the most fundamental way. Now, look how I imagine this book, okay? Imagine this book at the very top, okay? This is like the blueprint, and it basically has these little roads going down, okay? So let's say you read this book, and this book basically, I really cannot articulate myself. Wow, I need to work my communication skills, you know what I'm saying? But this book shows you like the blueprint of what you need to learn about in business, and then from this book you go on to reading other books. So let's say you read about sales in this book, and you from that point just read other books on sales, but this book just gives you the most fundamental things on for you to understand business, for you to understand how it works and how to start a business. But it's like impossible to find that one perfect book that is going to teach you everything everything you need to know about business, But as far as I've read, this book is really great. A lot of people recommend it. It's basically like a blueprint book, So yes, I want to start my business actually, we are thinking something with my friend. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail because again, if you can talk all you want, if you don't do any action, like action is what actually matters. Like you can talk anything you want, but we have a little plan of working the first few months in the summer, so we would save up some money. So most likely I will work in my dad's job. He works like 30 kilometers away from here, so I'm saying 30, like my head is messed up. Of course, it ain't that bad. I'm maybe a bit over exaggerating. He works like 5 kilometers from here, even less, like 4. So he's probably gonna give me one working position, one job position. So I will work there. I will save up some money, and me and my friend just plan on investing that money and opening our little business. I've heard a lot of people say if you want to learn about business, you gotta start your own business. Yes, getting your own personal experience, really putting yourself in the positions of doing business will teach you more than reading a book, but that doesn't discredit books. That doesn't mean you shouldn't read books. It's way better for me to start reading about business, start reading books than to basically do nothing right now. So I set one of my goals to learn about business, read books, watch podcasts, watch YouTube videos, take notes and try to apply some of the things that I learned in my daily life. If I learn something about sales, it's not like I should go into my daily life and start manipulating everybody, but maybe just do like a little technique of the sales that I learned to maybe convince my friend to go to some kind of store. Just like putting what I learned into practice in small ways. Because like just you consuming a book, it's not gonna help you. Taking the notes is like the level 1 thing. It's gonna make you remember things better. Then I think like there's a second level of taking notes, because like you can just write down what you see in a book. It's not really indulging your mind. But if you write down the notes in your own way and you kind of like write down examples of how you can use this in your own life, and you ask some questions of like, how can I apply this? I think that will definitely make the book way more effective than just reading it. Not even I think, that's just like a fact. And yeah, that is really all I wanted to share. And let's do a little pre-pump posing, okay? So if I'm doing chest and back, my chest and back will be pumped up, but for now, nothing is pumped up. Okay, now we're actually gonna go to workout, okay? I see you, bro. Boom, so we start the workout. First I gotta warm up, get my muscles ready so I wouldn't have no injuries and just like, just the stuff that I don't need. So start off my flies. I'm using 16 kg right here. Last session I used 14 kg and I did like 12 reps. So as Mike Mentzer said, if you can do more than 10 reps, you gotta increase the weight. So that is what I did. And I think this session I did 6 reps. Yeah, probably. So I did some improvements. That's good. It's very important to just track your every single workout. And your mission is not to just look at the muscles, but to look at your strength. If your strength is increasing, your muscles will increase too. I think that's the last rep. No? Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Yeah, yeah. I moved my camera really quick and I moved on to incline barbell press. Now, as you see, I don't do a wide grip. I do a shoulder width, even a little bit narrow, a little bit more narrow than my shoulders. And the reason why I do this is because Mike Mentzer also said that wide grip doesn't actually hit your chest more. The best grip to use when doing bench press is to do shoulder width and even a little bit more inside. Not like crazy inside, but as you see, my shoulders are wider. My elbows are wider than my shoulders when I'm doing the bench press. Just look, you see? And that basically hits your chest better. And I don't know if that's true, but so far I like it. I feel my chest really good. And yeah, I will keep on using this one. But on this one I did 45 kg for like 10 reps, which is very, very good, because last workout I did 8 reps and this time I did 10 reps. So I really increased in strength. Then I moved on to dips. Now with dips, for the last 4 sessions, I didn't progress with them at all. They just stay the same. I remember my first session I did 8 reps, and this time I also did 8 reps. But I did a rest pause in my first session, and this session I just didn't do no rest pauses, so that could be the reason. If I would do some rest pauses, which is just like a little pause of like 7 seconds, I could potentially do even more. Yeah. Then I'll move on to chin-ups. Chin-ups are very good for your lats and your biceps. And today, this is one day after the workout as I'm editing. My lats really feel the work, and actually my biceps feel a little bit too. What I like about this routine, my arms are probably like the most slacking thing on my body. So I get a lot of bicep work in this workout with the chin-ups and the barbell rows. And I also have a dedicated arm day on Friday. So with this routine, you get a lot of good arm work, which is very good for my physique. I don't know if this matches your goals, but it matches my goals, so that is perfect. So with these, I did 7 reps, I think. So I added one more rep, which is good. I'm progressing, and I do a little rest pause of 10 seconds, and I do 1.5 more reps. Yeah, I didn't do a full one to kind of finish my muscles. Then I'm gonna move on to barbell row. This time I lowered the weight because if you look at my last videos, the weight that I was using, I didn't control it at all. I was just throwing it around. So this time I lowered my weight so I would be able to control it. As you see, squeeze at the top, slow, squeeze at the top, slow. So I lowered my weight. I did 12 reps. So next session I will increase the weight a little bit, not too big. Still, I will just basically use the weight that is still controllable, but also challenges me. That is how we progress. So yeah, 12 reps, easy. A little rest pause of like 10 seconds and do a few more reps to kind of finish my back. And yes, my back today feels really, really good, really sore, you know. And it's crazy. I used to do a lot of sets and I never got as sore as from these workouts by just doing one set, just one all-out set. And boom, this is me posing. Just a little after. As you see, looking good. The chest and the back pump just makes you feel invincible. You feel like you can take on anybody. Yes, sir. I also got some arm pump from the rows, Also got some tricep too from the pushing exercises. So yeah, this basically gives you a whole body pump. So this is the video, guys. If you like the video, like, subscribe, join my journey. You feel me? Every single video I'm trying to improve at least a little bit to make it more entertaining, to make it more informational. So join my journey. We're gonna go big one day, and yeah, I hope you have a great day, bro. If you got any criticism, just tell me in the comments. I'm very open to that, and I would just love to hear it. So hope you have a great day, bro, and yeah, see you sometime.